And so that's just one example of a very specific management action, specific plan for a specific property to achieve several objectives. But broadly speaking, we should look at some of the different goals for management in a more focused way. And so one of the most common management goals, again, is the production of sawtimber. Sawtimber logs are those which will eventually be processed into the most valuable wood products, lumber, boards, things like that. So the production of sawtimber often involves the use of longer rotations as a means of growing larger trees, and sawtimber production is often the primary goal of commercial or industrial forest management. Pulpwood is another forest products category. Lower value, poorly formed, and smaller trees are often sold as pulpwood. Pulp is used in the paper-making process and also increasingly as an energy feedstock for biomass burning facilities. This lower value material is more often than not a secondary product produced, while management is focused more towards growing higher value sawtimber. Oftentimes pulpwood is what's produced during these thinnings. These are the lower quality trees that are removed to benefit the higher quality trees that are retained in the stand. But again, remember that wood products are just one part of this. Management may primarily be focused on habitat creation. In fact, in Haywood County, the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission is arguably the most active land manager, and they are primarily concerned with the creation of different habitat components. Again, different wildlife species require different habitat conditions. By altering the scale, the pattern, and the frequency of harvests, forest managers have the ability to provide target species by target species the appropriate level of food, cover, and space. Watershed management is principally focused on water quality protection and water yield. For these reasons, soil conservation and erosion protection are really the highest priorities. So it's counterintuitive to think of harvesting as compatible with objectives like that. But as I mentioned earlier, the goal of water quality protection and the goal of timber harvesting, these are not mutually exclusive things. When planned appropriately, proper silviculture can increase the amount of water yield from a given forested watershed while maintaining the quality of that water. And this is a really important consideration in the western part of the country and increasingly in the southeastern part of the country where we are as well. As an example, the two watersheds that supply New York City with its freshwater supply are currently 75% privately owned. The forest land that makes up those watersheds is 75% privately owned. And so timber harvesting within this watershed is a common occurrence. But the water remains clean enough through proper management. The water remains clean enough that supplemental filtering of the water as it gets into New York City is not necessary. Forest managers, particularly those that manage public land, often have to make provisions to accommodate recreational use as well. Management accomplished through thoughtful trail design, use dispersal, and administrative rules is designed to minimize user conflict and protect the ecological resources present. So again, just another typical goal of management, of forest management. And just to wrap this up here with this last slide, forest management is a really complicated thing, but it always begins with understanding the objectives of the landowner and understanding the function and limits of the ecosystems that we are manipulating.